Welcome back. So we're just going to finish up getting the detection here of the different pieces so that make sure that they don't overlap. And so to do this, we need to go back to the game manager, and we're going to create one more sort of function here. So I'm just going to put it below the update grid, so above the spawn next Tetramino. And so this again is going to be public. Okay, because we're going to have to access it from the Tetramino. And this one we're going to return a transform. So we're going to return a XY coordinate. And we'll call this transform grid position. Oops. Sorry, my keyboard is terrible here. Grid position. Okay. And so we need to input into it basically a vector 2, and it will be the position. Okay, so when we call the function, we need to bring in the position there. And so, oops, just bring that back. So what we've got here is basically if the position on the y-axis is greater than our grid height. Okay, so if we've got something above, we're just basically going to return null. Okay, it's not going to work. No. And then another if statement here. So just a second here. So, or sorry, else, I guess. So else. What else is going to happen? Well, if it's within that, what we want to do is basically return the position on the X and the Y and into the grid here. So we're going to turn the grid value, and just like we did before, oops, we need to make this into an integer, okay, and on the Y and the X, so pos.x, right, because we've inputted the position here, okay, and same thing, int, and then the position on the Y, okay, and then we'll just close up that array there. So that should work, okay. So like I said, we're just basically putting in the value there. Just make sure you close up your new function. There we go. So that that's all okay. I'm just going to save that there. So we're going to call this function that we just created here, this getTransformGridPosition, from the Tetramino controller. And we already have the checkIsValidPosition. And so we're just going to come down a little bit further here. So we've got, so find object position is equal to false. Return false, right? So that was checking inside the grid. Basically, we're going to do another one here. So just have to go below this guy. So if, and very similarly here, find an object of type, and again, game manager. And this time it's the function here. What do we call it here? Get transform grid position. Sorry, my keyboard is terrible. Whenever I use the shift key, it seems to lock it for some reason. Okay, so get transform grid position. I just want to make sure that that's what we called it here. Get transform grid position, and we've got to pass a vector 2. So we're going to pass the position here. So basically, it is going to be the position. Okay. Okay, there we go. So if this position does not equal what do we say, null, and again, I'm just going to copy this because it's going to be the same thing. Don't have a problem here. Find object of type game manager. It should be okay here. I don't know why it's not being cooperative. Probably see the error and I don't. Keeps changing back and forth. Is not equal to the transform. So if it's able to move, basically, or there's nothing there, we'll let it move. So we're going to return, and I don't think I ended my bracket. Sorry, this is a little big here. So transform. Go. We're going to return false. And that will let us move. Just like above, where we had to check if it was a valid position. This one we're going to check that there's no Mino there so that we can continue moving. If not, it won't be able to move. Okay, so I think that's all the code we need. Let's see. Moment of truth. Okay, of course. Unexpected symbol, 124 on the Tetris10. Probably just forgot to close this up or something. So 124. You probably saw my error there. Oh. So this guy closed up. Oh, I thought we did put one there. That closed up that one. 124. If. Oh, I forgot my closing bracket here. There you go. And of course this has gone red. Let's just hope that that fixes itself when it compiles. No, parsing error. What did I do wrong here? Let me just pause it and I'll find my error. Of course I had spelt it manger instead of manager. So that should fix that. I think that should fix that here since I just copied it. We'll save it again and hope. Should have checked it to make sure I had fixed that error. No, still giving me that. Okay, just let me double check again here. Alright, sorry about that. Back with the correction here. So again, that was okay. One thing I don't think I did correctly was here. So this is all the same, but we need to get the parent position, okay, of this, and does not equal the transform for each Mino. Return false. And then I think I had the brackets a little messed up here because I hadn't really thought about it too much. So the check is valid position should go down to just below the return true, okay, because that will allow it to actually move, okay. If none of these things are return as false, okay, then it will be able to move. So just make sure your brackets, curly braces are in the right spot. So now if we go back to Unity, this should now hopefully work. I haven't tested it again, but let's see. So we're bringing down that one. Looks good. And I don't really care. I just want to make sure that it sits on top. And it does. I'm a little concerned I got 3 in a row there, but oh, phew. There we go. So obviously the game is working to a certain extent, but a major component of the game is missing. We don't have it so that it will check to see if a row is complete, even though I'm playing terribly here. Doesn't look like I'll be able to get a nice row, but obviously that is an issue. Now I'm getting a little bit of thing index out of range exception. Arrays out of range. Doesn't seem to be affecting the game. Might have to look at that and see what's going on. But it is playing, and I'm able to put in my pieces. But like I said, if I did complete a whole row, well, that's good enough to show, right? Obviously, there's no detection here. So if you think about what we need to do next, we do have it in an array. I should pause it there, actually. But we do have it in an array, so we're going to be able to check that if we've got basically all the positions. So if in that column, I have a position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that would be a whole row. and then I'd have to delete that row. And then if you think about what's going to happen is that everything above that is going to have to fall. And it might fall, you know, just the one step till it touches, but it's going to fall and detect if there's any other minos, or it's going to fall to the ground here. Okay, so that's what we sort of have to work on next. We have to get the detection of a complete row and then allowing us to move it down. And we'll do that in the next video. All right, see you then.